Perfect. I can. Very, very well, loud and clear. How are you, bro?
I'm great. Yeah, how are you? Good to see
I'm
you.
beautiful environment, by the way. I love that you're outside.
Yeah, no, it's nice. I mean, it's still a little cloudy, but usually
Yeah,
clears up later in the afternoon.
it's better to be outside cloudy than nothing, no?
Exactly. Yeah, trying to
Yeah.
make the most of it.
Yeah, I would be outside as well, but since the whole Wi-Fi thing, I'm not getting any signal over there. So, but we're still here, dude.
And we made it. Nice. What, you
Yeah.
had a storm last night or something?
I don't think it was a storm, but it was very heavy rain, and we haven't gotten this for like 9 months now.
Gotcha.
So yeah, the house didn't react well to it. So we had like power outages throughout the night. Like it came and went, and the Wi-Fi is still like fucky. So if I disconnect, it's probably because of that.
All right.
Um,
If that
let
happens,
me,
I'll stay on here.
yeah, let me know if you have any problems with my voice, with my network or everything. Let me just check if I'm, yeah,
Sure.
perfect.
I mean,
Let me get
so
your
far it's great.
perfect. Let me get your name right. Yeah, Yali.
Yeah, Yali, that's good. A lot of
Perfect.
people have issues with my name. Some people go Yahi, Yahil. I get a lot. Yahili, I've gotten like yeah,
I was
Yali's
doing
good.
I was doing Yahili, but I heard you say your name. So yeah. Why is it Talo Wallow, man? By the way.
um, Honestly, I didn't give it much thought. This
It's
is the
just
first time I started like no, all good. This is the first time I started posting on social media and stuff, and I didn't have a good username. And at the time, I was just starting to use Tallow, and I wasn't quite ready to go like with my name and
yeah.
picture and everything. So I wanted to find something kind of catchy, but still, like evoke the feeling of like this holistic health space.
Hmm.
Talawala Man just kind of came to me, and it stuck since then. And I've been using it ever since.
Yeah, it's fun. I love it. Yeah.
Thanks.
Beautiful. So let's get started, man. Give
Sweet.
us give the viewers a little bit on like who you are, what you're doing, and kind of like what got you here to where you are today.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, my name is Yahli. I am from the Bay Area in California. Um, Grew up in a pretty big family. We're four total siblings. So I have older brother, younger brother. I have a twin sister. Um,
Wow.
and yeah, I mean, like in this big family, I guess I grew up kind of being like the shy kid, like quieter kid. Uh, Played a lot of sports growing up, mostly like football, soccer. Um, Played some basketball and stuff, and just tried to stay active. Um, but yeah, I mean, like grew up in the Bay Area, kind of went through that. You know, just kind of like traditional childhood, I guess. Um, and I grew up around a lot of like tech companies. So that was always kind of in the back of my head growing up. So I saw a lot of people like start their own businesses, things like that, and it kind of inspired me to want to eventually start my own business too.
Hmm.
Um, but for most of my life, I really had no idea like what that was going to be,
Hmm.
and so I kind of just kept it in, like in the background and figured an idea would come to me at some point.
Hmm.
Um, but basically, yeah, I went through like the traditional path for most of my life. So went to school. Uh, my school is like a pretty competitive academic
Okay.
environment, I'd say. So like everyone was really focused on getting good grades, going to the right college,
Yeah.
getting a good job from there. And so I kind of fell into that too, and started going down that path. So I was really focused on like studying hard, going to a good school, and basically going down that path. So um, yeah, in high school, I did all that stuff. Went to college in LA. So I went to USC and I studied business administration and I minored in computer programming. So
Hmm.
had some like tech experience in that sense and tried to figure out like what I wanted to do after that. Um, like I said, I was
Hmm.
kind of going down the traditional path, right? Like at USC as a business major, like there are a few different paths that you could take as like the normal route. You
Yeah.
could go down and do like investment banking, you could go do consulting. Um, and then for me, coming from like the Silicon Valley area, tech was another big pull for me. So eventually, after I graduated, went down into tech and started working there. And I mean, it was great. Like it kind of got like, I got the job I was kind of hoping to get growing up, which was cool. But now I'm a few years out from graduating college, and I realized, you know, like tech is good. Like I'm very grateful for my job. But at the same time, I don't think this like 9 to 5 type of job is like what I want to do going
Mm-hmm.
forward. And as I was kind of coming to that realization, I started getting into this whole like health Twitter space, right? Where I was now like living on my own, like outside of my family, was responsible for a lot of my own decisions. And a lot of these things started coming up where I'm like, maybe I need to think about this again, be more like proactive with the choices I'm making, and going from there. So I know for me, it started with like with the water. And so like I was showering with tap water and started noticing some effects from that.
Oh wow.
Like my hair started, not like anything severe, but it started like falling out when I would shower in the tap water. And that never happened to me before. Like I've always had like pretty full head of hair. And yeah, so that got me started, like got a shower filter, saw it was like a lot better from that. And it kind of opened up a lot of doors in my mind, right? So I'm like,
Yeah,
what
there you
else am
go.
I not considering? And started going down all these different rabbit holes, and eventually came to like the food, you know, like the light environment, and ultimately the clothing aspect of it. And so when I got to the clothing stuff, a light bulb kind of went off in my head. And I'm like, wait, this is like a really interesting space. Like I've always kind of been interested in fashion and kind of like expressing myself that way.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I was like one of the first kids in my friend group to wear like something that wasn't like gray or black, you know, and like try to wear
Yeah.
something that's not just like the traditional t-shirt and jeans or whatever.
The Adidas pants.
Exactly, yeah. And so I started getting into natural clothes more and tried out different brands. And I really liked them, but at the same time, I felt like there was a lot of opportunity to make them better. And like I said, I've always wanted to run a business, so it kind of clicked there. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I have a good idea for this. I think there's a lot of opportunity. And since then, I started going like full force into it and just kind of never looked back. So been working on
Right.
that for the past almost year, since September of last year.
Wow.
And that's kind of how like the idea and the beginning of Wavewear was born.
Right. This is a beautiful like segue into that topic. I mean, before we talk about Wave, like
Mm-hmm.
what got you? Maybe like I understand you became aware of the clothing issue, but what got you? What sounded the alarms in your head for the clothing issue? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I honestly was not aware of like what it really meant, you know? And I think
Right.
that's where a lot of people are today. Like I knew, so for example, I like going to the gym, I like running, like playing soccer, whatever it was. I'd always go for those like lined compression shorts, or
Yeah.
like those shorts with the liner attached to them. And I knew they were like the synthetic fiber, you know, like Nike, for example. I had a lot of those. They market it as like a performance short, and it's like
Yeah.
dry fit or like sweat wicking, all this stuff. And you're like, okay, this is what you should use to go work out. And it works pretty well, right? It's like tight against your skin. Uh, as far as you know, it's like it's the ideal short to wear. Um,
Right.
and I would sometimes look at the labels, like I didn't really know what it meant, but I saw that like everything is polyester, everything's
Mm-hmm.
spandex, or some mix of those. You know, nylon is
Mm-hmm.
another big one. And then I started going down this like health Twitter rabbit hole, started researching more about what these fabrics really are, and that's when I realized they're plastic. So it's either made out of petroleum, like it's called
Yeah.
like virgin polyester, or it's made out of like recycled trash. So like, you know, like those plastic water bottles you see in the ocean or whatever, they pull it and repurpose them and make it into clothing. So that's like the recycled polyester. So like, I guess if you look at it from that perspective, maybe you could think, hey, this is good. Like we're repurposing all this trash, making clothes. Like, what's wrong with that, right? But you take a deeper look and you see that it actually has like pretty significant ramifications, especially to our health and to, you know, the environment in our planet.
Yeah.
So that's really
This.
what made
Yeah.
me like take it more seriously and figure out like, you know, like this is what I want to pursue. Like I want to build a business around this, like spread the word, create clothes that, you know, look good, feel good, they're made out of good stuff, and share it with people, and like slowly but surely get people excited about like natural clothes and go back to the way things were. I think there's a lot of opportunity there, and it's a lot of things are backwards in the world, but like wave wear is kind of supposed to be the first part of my mission with Wayve to like tackle some of these things. So I'll start with natural clothing, and maybe I'll only stick with natural clothing. Maybe I'll go into, some other things. But we'll see. Yeah, this is kind of like what I wanted to get into.
Some tallow maybe in the future.
Yeah, maybe some tallow.
Yeah.
Why
are things backwards in the world? What do you mean by that?
I think, if we look at clothing, for example, the norm these days, and it's happened the past few decades, is to use these cheap synthetic plastic materials like polyester, nylon, spandex. And you look around, maybe not you, but like if the average person looks in their closet, I'd say like 90% of their clothes have at least some portion of polyester in them. And now we take it for granted. It's like, that's normal, right? You look around the mall at new clothes coming out, and you look at the tag, like I've done this before, you see like 9 out of 10 things are made with 100% polyester, a mix of different synthetic fibers. So it's like really normal now. It wasn't the case like, I don't know how many years ago, but years ago. And it's kind of seems like that's happening in a lot of different industries, like the food, you look at seed oils, for example, that only started happening in like the 70s. Same with like, I guess, like pasteurizing milk, like it used to all be raw milk. There's a lot of different things that in the past we kind of kept it simpler, like more in line with nature, and now we're kind of drifting away from that. So I think the same is happening with clothes. Why it's happening, I think there are a lot of reasons. Like I'd say one big one is for sure just like profits, and these big corporations that are pumping out most of these clothes, they don't care about the health of the consumer, they care about making money.
Of course.
Like creating clothes out of these plastic synthetic fibers is going to be way, 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 way cheaper than using like organic cotton, merino wool, linen, all these other like good natural materials. And so I think that's probably like the primary driver. But yeah, I'd say that's like kind of the main reason. And I've seen firsthand, like as I'm going through the process, like manufacturers will try to push all these synthetic fibers, like, oh, we can save money. It's like it's more it's like a more optimal fabric for this use case, like you should use this, and I have to like really push back to not use it. So it's kind of embedded into like the DNA of the industry.
Beautiful. So let's talk about wave wear. First of all, where does that name come from?
Yeah, I kind of went through like a whole process of trying to like figure out a name. I was born in like the year of the tiger, and at first I thought I was gonna go something along like using a tiger to create a name. But honestly, I couldn't think of anything good or anything that really resonated with me. And I was trying to think of like, so after that, I tried to think about like, what does this brand like really mean to me? And like, what do I want to like, what's the vision of it? And like I said, it's kind of like to change the way people like live. I think people who would want to buy this brand, at least in the beginning, would probably be people who align with like a healthy lifestyle, something that's connected to nature. It's like a way of living is what I think about it. And so that a way of living kind of translated to wave. And then wave also, like I'd go to the beach a lot. I love waves and like just like spending time in the ocean. My name is Yahli, like it has that Y, and so it all kind of like fell into place. And so wave just came to me kind of, and I liked it from the start, and just kind of stuck with it since then.
Beautiful. What is it here to do?
The brand?
Yeah,
so it's basically to push this like natural way of living, right? I think there are a lot of problems with the modern world, at least in America. I'm sure it goes like beyond too, but there are some key things that kind of stick with me. Like infertility is a huge one. Like I think it's like 1 in 5 couples in the US are considered infertile.
that's crazy.
If you think about like the food system, I think it's like 1 in 3 or 4 Americans are like obese or overweight.
Yeah.
You know, like pharmaceutical industry, it's like the majority of Americans are on some sort of like medication.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all like huge problems. I think the vision for Wayve is to start to like tackle these maybe one by one. But with Wayve wear specifically, like the clothing line, it's starting with, I guess, addressing mostly that infertility piece, right? And
Right.
uh, we can get into that more too, but it's basically to start tackling some of these pieces of the pie. I guess Wayve wear is to start with this natural clothing sector, try to build a brand that's, you know, all about
Mm-hmm.
returning to natural fabrics, like highly vibrational fabrics, um,
Right.
and going from there. But I think I'm really trying to focus just on this for now, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
have a plan for like how I'm going to exactly expand from there. But for sure, I think there's opportunity to go into like all these different parts that are kind of like, uh, you know, that have kind of strayed in a direction that I don't think is like ideal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, let's get into like this tackling infertility. How do you
Yeah.
want to do that? Like what? I understand it's like cotton wear, but
hmm
how you
So
go? Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of factors that play into like the infertility crisis, if you will, in America, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think clothing is a big part of it, but there are other aspects of it too. I would say essentially anything we ingest is gonna contribute to this, right? So like the
Mm-hmm.
food we eat, the clothes we wear, the drugs we take, um, the water we drink, you know, like everything kind of plays into it, and we're exposed to so many different chemicals, uh, and different like lifestyle choices that impact it. Um,
Right.
I've been like researching it a lot too, and I guess I can focus on clothing because this is kind of uh, what Wayve is going to tackle, right? But there have been like direct links between wearing like synthetic fibers like polyester to infertility. So there have been studies. I mean, recently there was some study that came out that said they tested like 24 men or something, and they found that 100% of those men had microplastics found in their balls, right? Like it's it's here already.
That's wild because even if you don't use polyester in your, like under your nuts, you're still heavily contaminated by them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like there's a statistic that's kind of like mind blowing. It's like every week the average American ingests like a credit card's worth of
That's
microplastic.
fucking crazy. Yeah.
So it's like that's kind of crazy and scary to think about, right? And these microplastics have direct links to, you know, they're like endocrine disruptors, so they affect your hormones, and your hormones are directly related to your reproductive system. So if that's all out of whack, that's going to affect your fertility.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's like carcinogenic. It's, you know, it causes like skin issues. It causes a whole lot of, you know, internal problems that are all going to, you know, like either directly or indirectly lead to a problem with your fertility.
Right.
So I think also the other thing that's interesting is your skin is like very absorbent. It's like your largest
Mm-hmm.
organ, it's super absorbent, and different parts of your skin, like on your body, are going to absorb things at different rates. So like your your elbow, for example, like the skin on your elbows, not going to absorb things as fast as the skin on your stomach, or the skin on
Mm-hmm.
your thigh or whatever.
Or in the foot as well, right?
The foot as well.
Right.
There was a study done in,
Shit,
I
your
think it was like
balls.
your exact that's what I'm getting to. So like I think the University of Kansas or Kentucky did a study a while ago, and they were basically testing the different like absorption rates across your
Mm-hmm.
body.
Mm-hmm.
And the top, I mean, the most absorptive part of your body is like your balls. The second most is like your armpits.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, it's like when you go to the gym and wear these clothes, you're sweating in them, you're getting hot, your pores open up, and they're in direct contact with those areas. So they're gonna seep directly onto your skin, into your bloodstream, and it's
Yeah.
gonna have a huge effect on your health. So I think it's like maybe the first time people hear about it, they're like, it's just clothes. Like, how big of an impact can that have, right? But if you start to really think about it, it
It's
has a
more than
huge
just
impact,
clothes.
and
Yeah.
people are exposed to it through their clothes, their bed sheets, you know, like all different things that they like sleep on for 8 hours, wear during the day. Like it adds up, you know.
At this point, even like the air you breathe.
Exactly, that too.
Yeah, that is crazy. So where is Wayve at the moment? What are you cooking?
Um, yeah. So I'm actually like I'm
Oh,
wearing
I was
everything I'm
about
wearing
to
right
say
now
that. Yeah,
is Wave. This is like one of my samples. I don't know if you can see, but I got
yeah,
like the embroidery
that's
here.
so clean.
Um, thank you.
Is it
So
heavy?
it's like a somewhat heavyweight hoodie.
Okay, like
It's
it's
not like
warm
it's
or
warm. It's not like absurdly warm, but I think it's a good balance. Uh, so for this first collection or first drop, I'm gonna
yeah.
have 6 total garments. Of I'm gonna start really with like some basics. And when I think about Wave, I think it's gonna have like a core collection of clothes. Some are gonna be like lifestyle, and some are gonna be like performance for like working out or like moving in. So I'll have t-shirts, I'll have hoodies like this. I'll have a women's short. I'll have a men's like classic short, which you can wear to like lounge around at home, walk around, get
Mm-hmm.
groceries in,
That's
go to the beach. You
beautiful.
can even like work out in them. And then
Yeah,
I'll have a dedicated short for like athletic purposes with like a built-in liner that's all natural. Uh,
the
and then I'll
liner's
have,
like the fake underwear, no?
yeah, it's like built into the short. It's like a
Yeah.
compression short basically.
Okay.
Um, and then I'll have a rugby shirt too. It's like a long sleeve shirt with a
Yeah,
collar.
that's such a beautiful piece.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited about that one. But yeah, that's kind of like those are the garments that I have in the works now. I've gone through like several rounds of samples just to try to get everything right. Make sure the material's right, the color's right, the fit is right. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
that goes into it, but I just placed the bulk order for this first round
Yeah.
of for this first collection like last week. So
That's
it takes
so
a few
exciting.
months.
Yeah.
I'm extremely excited. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Like I've been kind of dreaming about this moment for a while. So I'm trying to like enjoy the whole process. I know this will only happen once. So
Yeah.
um,
And I
I
feel
mean
like in the space where we're at, everyone really appreciates anything like this. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
if it's another towel brand, it's very everyone appreciates it. Everyone wants to try. Everyone wants to support. Same thing with these like cotton uh cotton clothing brands. And you're bringing something new to the table, which is also just exciting and special, you know?
totally. I think there are a lot of things that are gonna stand out with my line. So I think this like athletic short is gonna be like the
Yeah,
first of its kind.
I was gonna
Um,
ask about that. Yeah.
I think that for sure will be the first of its kind. I'm really excited. I've been wearing it like ever since I got that first sample, and it's not exactly the same as like what the final product will be, but it's the same principle, and it's like, dude, it's so good. I wear it to work out. I wear it to run. Like I've jumped in the ocean with it. Like
Oh
washed
wow.
it a few times, and it's still great. Um,
Is,
and
is it
then
is it
yeah, go for it.
comfortable for the testes?
Yeah, it is. I like so that's actually a good question. When I used to wear like these Nike equivalents, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
you feel like you can't breathe.
you feel like you can't breathe. Like you can wear it
Yeah.
when you go like work out or go play pickup or whatever. But after you're done, you're like, dude, I need to get these things off like ASAP, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you felt the same. Uh, but with these, it's like it's made with merino wool, and I can happily talk about that more. But
Yeah.
it's made with merino wool, and it's like it's a natural fabric, and there are a lot of natural benefits that come with it. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I've worn them like for hours on end, and I don't feel like
Wow.
a need to
Wow.
take them off. So, and at the same time, they're still good for performance, and like they're not gonna like let everything just kind of like flop around, you know. But yeah, no, it's great. Like I think merino wool has a ton of different benefits, and like put a lot of thought into why I wanted to use it for the short too.
Right. What are the differences of wools? Why did you pick this specific wool? Or are you using different types for like the products?
I'm I'm just using so for most everything I'm using organic cotton, like GOTS
Mm-hmm.
certified organic cotton, and then for this athletic short, I'm incorporating some merino wool as well.
Okay.
So I guess like
wool, right?
wool is there are a lot of different types of wool. I mean, wool comes from like a sheep generally. I think maybe some goats have fur that can be made into wool. But it's
Yeah.
mainly sheep. And so there are a lot. I think when you generally think of wool, you think of like this like thick, hot, itchy
Mm-hmm.
material, right? Like a sweater.
Yeah.
Uh, and
Something
that's
your
what I thought.
mom made you wear.
Right, exactly. And so when I was first researching, I'm like, why would I want to use wool for a liner? Like, am I not going to get super hot and like itchy down there? Like, um, but merino wool is like very special. So
Mm-hmm.
merino wool comes from the merino sheep, which if you look it up, it's like that really puffy white sheep. You can like
See.
barely see its face. Like it grows a ton of wool. Um, and something like super interesting about merino wool is that it like the thickness of one strand of
Oh,
like
that's what I'm
hair.
seeing.
Yeah,
Whoa,
right. They're
wow.
fluffy.
Dude.
But like one single strand of merino wool is 1/3 the thickness of a human hair. So it's like
Wow.
very, very fine. And
Dude, these
that's
are
like
like the coolest animals I've ever seen in my life.
they're awesome, right?
Yeah.
And so because it's so thin, it makes it like really breathable,
Okay.
which is super good for something like this. Using
Right.
merino wool too, when it's like woven a certain way, it can be stretchy, which is also beneficial.
Right.
Um, and then merino
Okay.
wool, like, I mean, think about it. That sheep has so much wool on it, like it needs to
Mm-hmm.
be able to like breathe properly. So it's naturally very breathable. It's naturally antimicrobial, like
Wow.
antibacterial. And so that
Whoa.
means like you don't even need to wash the garment after each use. Like you can just let it dry out in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the sun has its own like antibacterial
Yeah.
properties as well. But you can wash it every 2-3 times if you want, you know, like it won't smell.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing with polyester equivalents, like
Wow.
it stinks and it holds on to that
Yeah.
smell, holds on to your
Mm-hmm.
sweat. This is just gonna like let it all air out. So it's very
Mm-hmm.
good for that. Um, and yeah, it's merino wool is like awesome, dude. It's great. This is the first time I've like owned and worn merino wool, and
Okay.
I need to get some more, honestly.
Is this like stretchiness? Um, how do you call it? Like the ability of the wool to stretch the reason why you chose it for the liners?
Yeah, so I mean, initially I wanted to use cotton for the liner because I didn't know about merino wool.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started thinking about it and like designing like the tech packs or like the specifications for each like garment. And
Okay.
I used cotton at first, but cotton generally is like it doesn't really hold its shape very well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so if you want to make it a liner, like maybe it'll be tight the first couple wears, but after you wash it and wear it a few times, it'll kind of like loosen up, and it won't like keep its fit how you want. It has like good properties to it, but it's not like ideal for a liner material. And so then I started looking at alternatives. People were pushing like Tencel on me, which is like a bamboo based fabric that has some problems with it too. And then I found merino wool and kind of figured out it works well, got the sample done, tested it out, and it works well. Yeah, it's like very stretchy, and super comfortable, like not itchy at all.
Beautiful. How did you develop the products you're working on? Like, what's the reason why you chose the hoodie, the shorts, the shirt, the rugby shirt?
Yeah. So I started with just the idea for not even the athletic short at first, but at first it was just like the classic short is what I'm gonna call
Mm-hmm.
it. So um I don't know if you own any like soul shorts or like
Yeah.
Regenaissance shorts, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be like similar. Um, it'll be a little different, but I personally owned like soul shorts, and that was like a great intro to me for like cotton shorts, um, and like being able to use it to go work out and just like replace all these other types of
Right.
shorts I would wear. I think they're great, and like I still wear them, but I thought there were like a lot of improvements I can make and things like I wish they had, but they
Mm-hmm.
didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of like how I started thinking about what garments I want to create. So it started at first I thought I was literally just gonna do the short, and make some improvements like add a back pocket, change the
I
colors.
was about to ask
Uh,
about the back pocket.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a back pocket on that, which
Wow.
I think is like super important. And the other thing I haven't even talked about yet is some of these garments are gonna have like an EMF blocking property
Right.
to them
I
too.
wanted to talk about that. Yeah. Wow.
So those are like some, I think, key like differentiators.
Mm-hmm.
And it's organic cotton. Like a lot of these brands aren't organic cotton; it's just cotton, which there is like a difference there, um,
Of course.
which is important to call out. So those are some of the things that differentiated like the Wayve classic short versus these other ones. And once I had that, I started thinking about the athletic short. I was like, because I was wearing this like cotton short to go work out in, but when I wanted to go play pickup soccer, I had no alternative. Like I can't wear that to run around for an hour in. So
Yeah.
I had to wear like these synthetic ones. I was like, I wish I had a way to not wear synthetic clothes for this long. And that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
how I came up with the athletic short. And then I basically decided I want to do like a full collection that you can like mix and match clothes. Um, Figured like a hoodie would be really good. A t-shirt would be like easy and like very useful. And then I
Mm-hmm.
wanted like one product that was like a little more like lifestyle, just kind of like fashion, because I do care about like the utility of the clothes, but at the same time, I want to have it be like a fashion brand too. So like even if someone who doesn't know about um, natural clothes, if they come across Wayve wear, I would want them to still be like, hey, this like shirt looks awesome. Like I want to buy it just because it looks good. So I wanted to do the rugby shirt because of that, and I figured that would be
Yeah,
like
that's clean.
a good mix.
Is that one heavy as well? It looks kind of like puffy, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty heavy. It's like it's made with organic cotton pique fabric, which is like the inside's a little like textured, so it's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever owned like a
Mm.
rugby shirt, but
Mm.
it has like a little heavier feel, um, but the outside is like insanely soft. It's like honestly the
It's
softest thing I've worn. It
it's
maybe
it's kind
softer
of
than a
like
shirt.
it's for like a cloudy day, but you're not feeling like a long sleeve.
Yeah, I mean it's a long sleeve, but you can wear it if it's cold out. You can wear it and not need like a hoodie over it.
Yeah.
But
Oh, it's long sleeve. Okay.
yeah, it's long sleeve. But yeah, it's pretty versatile. You can dress it up or down. You can wear it with shorts. You can wear it with like jeans, anything. But yeah,
Perfect. How are you making these EMF blocking? I saw that on your website, and that made me jump a little bit.
yeah. So like EMF blocking clothes, it's not anything new really. There are a lot of brands out there. Like there's a brand like No Choice. I think like Lambs is another brand, and they're focused on creating clothes that are like EMF blocking clothes, where the whole garment is made with a special fabric that incorporates metals into it. So like
Mm.
mostly like silver, copper, those types of metals, and they help like reflect and like protect the person wearing it from these EMF fabrics. So it basically like repels them. Um,
Okay.
so that exists, and there are like tests you can do, and you can get like an EMF device to like measure, like the frequencies, um, and see like what it is if you are, have it hidden behind like this fabric or not, and you can see how
Mm-hmm.
effective it is. Generally, it's like
Wow.
very, very effective. And so essentially, I found this supplier that has EMF blocking fabric. And so it's like mostly made out of cotton, but it incorporates a good amount of like silver and copper into it. So it's like directly
Okay.
in the thread of the fabric.
Okay.
Um, and that on its own acts as like an EMF blocker. So I put it basically in the lining of the pockets. So then whenever you put your phone in your
Mm.
pocket, it's like, all right, at least it's doing like one extra thing to protect you from the radiation to blast you, which also impacts infertility, going back to that point. Um, I still think it's best to like not put your phone in your pocket. I'm not going to say it's like 100% effective, but it's like one
But
more factor that helps. And that's the other reason I wanted to put the back pocket in too, because it's better to put your phone in your back pocket than your front pocket.
right.
Uh,
That's the
just like,
only thing that I'm missing from the Soul Brush shorts.
right? Yeah. Um, and so I think that's been like really helpful for me, and that's like also a differentiated part of Wayve wear that I think will be really cool. But yeah,
Are those tests? Have you tested your shorts already?
I haven't done any third party testing yet.
Okay.
I still want to do that, but I've gotten like a personal EMF measurement device and check
Mm-hmm.
like I put it near my Wi-Fi router and it goes crazy. And then I put the Wi-Fi router, like I cover it with the pocket from my shorts and it goes way down. So I've tested it myself. I still need to go about doing like third-party tests, but it
Yeah.
works well. Yeah.
No, but that testing is beautiful to upload as well.
Yeah, totally. I need to
Like to share.
get a better video of it, but it's yeah, it works pretty well. It's cool to see.
That's really exciting because I can
Mhm.
finally feel a teeny tiny bit more comfortable putting my phone in my pocket.
Totally.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. What's next for Wave besides
So
actually launching your product?
yeah, the launch is the big one. Hopefully I can do that sometime in September. But that's like what I'm mainly focused on. So for now, focusing on getting all these photos taken of the clothes, make
Right.
sure I get the bulk order and like no blips happen along the way. Maybe start passing some out to certain influencers who like align with the vision, and maybe they can start posting about it, getting more like hype and like awareness around the brand, and then actually launching. I think as soon, or I guess before I like launch, I'm gonna open up a pre-sale too. So I'll
Right.
have a
Right.
pre-sale for a bit, and potentially with the money from there, I can start developing like the second collection already. My my hope is to be able to create a second collection, have it like out before the end of the year.
Oh
It'll
wow.
be like kind of tight. We'll see. Um, but I want to start developing the next collection and essentially like get ready for the next launch. Um, I have some ideas. I have a
Right.
lot of ideas for things I want to do, but for the second one, I might just start smaller and make it like a little faster to scale and launch, and then
Okay.
maybe do like a restock of some of the more popular items from the first collection.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then from there, I have ideas for like 3, 4, 5, 6 launches ahead. So
Oh
uh,
wow.
I haven't like developed them yet, but I've been thinking about it a lot.
Do you want to share
So
some of those ideas?
I can,
You
yeah, I
know
mean,
what would be really cool, by the way, before you share some of those ideas?
yeah,
Some specific cotton shorts for the sauna.
uh-huh,
You
yeah,
know, like to protect the testicles from the heat.
yeah, that would be
That would be
interesting.
so epic.
What do you do right
I
now?
have
You wear just like a
no.
towel or
Oh,
something?
me? Yes.
Yeah,
I'll add a towel if I can, ice.
yeah,
But that's it. Even Mexico City, the UV, we're getting like minimum 8. Every
oh
day we're
yeah,
getting 14 UV. So the
dang.
heat's terrible. And I do wear shorts out
Mm-hmm.
and I'm kind of uncomfortable with it, you know?
Totally.
That would be really cool.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's something I can think about that. Um, I wish I could sauna more often. Maybe I'd have better ideas, but yeah,
Yeah. I mean, you're in California, right?
yeah, in California.
Shit, I feel like the sauna is the easiest thing to find over there.
Yeah. Um, but yeah. Anyway, like I have some ideas. I think you were asking like if I wanted to share. I for sure I'm thinking for the second collection, I'll probably do like I'm aiming to launch it in the winter, so something like around winter clothes. Probably do like a sweatpant because I don't have anything like that right now. I think
Oh wow.
that would be
Mhm.
interesting. Maybe like a second version of a hoodie, something along those lines. And then after that, I really want to do like a linen collection because I think linen
Uh
is one of like the best fabrics out there in the world. So I want to do a linen collection with long sleeve, short sleeve shirts, long sleeve, short sleeve pants, and shorts. Maybe like a women's tank top or something. I don't know. Like there are a lot of things I could do there, but it all kind of depends like how the first collection goes. Like if I can sell out, I'll have a lot more opportunity to like either scale up like the volume of clothes I can do or like
mhm.
try out different styles. And so I'm gonna play it by ear, but I have a lot of ideas to do that. Like I think something interesting to do would be like a swimwear, like a Wave water line
Wow.
down the road.
Like
Because
an
like all the
easy
swims,
dryable thing.
yeah, because all the
Yeah, that's
swimsuits
really
today are
smart.
nylon mostly.
Yeah.
I saw like the guy that makes the masa chips, he just started like a cotton swimsuit brand for women, I think,
Really?
which is great. And I think there's a lot of opportunity there to make something cool. Uh,
Mhm.
and then yeah, it goes like there are so many different ways I can take it. Like, um, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. What has been like the biggest takeaway or like lesson building this brand so far?
I would say I think it's really like a mindset thing.
Wow.
I think going through the whole process from like ideation to now, like I have a tangible product with me and like place the bulk order, like it's coming, right? Like it's happening. It's cool to see that. And it kind of makes me realize like, you know, like you can really do anything. Like it sounds kind of corny, right? But like if you really focus and put your effort towards something consistently. I haven't even been doing this a year, and I'm probably gonna be able to launch like within a year of starting.
Fuck.
Um,
Yeah, wow.
it's like you can really make things happen like quick. And the
Mhm.
main thing I've noticed thinking about that, I've been thinking about it a lot, is like the time passes either way, right? Like
Mhm.
whether you stay stagnant and you're unhappy in your situation, you're like you can feel bad for yourself and you
Mhm.
can be like, man, this sucks. Like, I wish I could just own a business. I wish I could like rent out Airbnbs and make so much money, like not have to actually work.
Yeah.
Um, but if you don't do anything about it and you just kind of let the time pass, like you're gonna stay in that situation. You're only gonna get older. Like it'll get harder and harder to like do something different, you know? So it's really up to you. Like no one's gonna come save you out of this situation. Um, which can maybe be like a scary thought, but at the same time, it's like it makes you realize like everything's up to you. So if you want to make something happen, like you got to just start, and you don't have to know everything along the way. Like, dude, I started thinking about how to start a clothing brand. I was like, how do I even start? Like, there's so much that you have to think about. It's like,
Of
do I
course.
focus on the marketing? Do I have
And you're
to figure
still
out
gonna
the
learn
legal
so
stuff?
much.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything at all yet. Like I'm learning every day. It's like, how do
Mhm.
I find a manufacturer? How do I make sure the fabric is right? How do I even know what fabric to use? Like, I don't know how to create a tech pack, like nothing. And you
Mhm.
just kind of like, you got to just start doing it. Um, and you'll figure stuff out along the way. I think that's part of going down this like entrepreneurial route, right? Like, no one has the answers. Like, there's no blueprint like there is for if you stay in the 9 to 5 job and like go down that normal path. So if you want to make things happen, like you got to do it on your own, um, and be open minded and like ready to take on these challenges. But I think it's kind of like a beautiful journey, and
Yeah.
like you have to enjoy the whole process.
Mhm.
Um, and just like there are going to be times where you're like stuck or like something sucks, right? But uh, like working through it is kind of like that's like the best part, right? Like you need to embrace those times, and it makes all the good times that much sweeter. So
Mm.
that's been something I've been trying to like think about and like consciously be aware of like as I'm going through the whole process, which has been like really helpful for me.
Mhm. Yeah, that's beautiful. That was really well said.
Thank
I
you.
I want to touch back on something you mentioned earlier, which is like vibrational frequency in clothing.
Mm-hmm.
This is something I learned, like a couple months back with Disco Orpheus Gabriel. You know who he is?
Yeah.
And Rafael de la Fuente.
Yeah. I know Raph
They
talks about it a lot.
they added one big post on it, and it really caught my attention. What have you learned about that?
Um, honestly, I kind of came across the subject from Raph, I think.
Hmm.
Uh, so it's interesting. Like at first, the first time you hear it, depends who you are. You might be like skeptical, right? It's like, dude, like, what does this mean?
Yeah,
Um, but if you
yeah,
think about it, you take a step back and just start thinking about it like holistically, right? Like everything in our world has a vibrational frequency, which means at
right,
its core, it's like everything is like vibrating, like moving. Energy is like moving at all times, whether
right.
you can see it, whether you can hear it
Okay,
or not. Um, so like light is a vibration, color is a vibration. This table that my laptop's on right now is a vibration. Like I'm a vibration. Like
electrons move like that as well. Yeah.
exactly. So that's like a core principle that this is all kind of based on, right?
Hmm.
Um, with that in mind, like your clothes are also vibrating at a certain frequency. So different fabrics are made out of different materials. They go through different processes. They're going to vibrate at different frequencies.
Right.
Maybe before I go into that, I can talk about like sound frequencies, which are a little more
Sure.
like accepted and like well known today, right? Like,
Yeah.
uh, like there are tons of studies about how like listening to certain sound frequencies, like those solfeggio frequencies, for example, that's going to reduce your stress. It's going to like change your state of mind. It's going to help you. Like if you're less stressed, it's going to have physical impact too on your body. And so that's something interesting, like which is honestly pretty accepted today for the most part. So that's I think a good intro to this.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, it's like your clothes have the same effect. So cotton, specifically organic cotton, is even better. Linen, wool, hemp, or I don't know what hemp's frequency is, but those natural fabrics have like higher frequencies.
Right.
There was a study done, I think, in like early 2000s or something. But like organic cotton was measured, and linen was measured, and wool was measured, and their frequencies are at like 5,000, or like linen, wool are like 5,000 megahertz. Cotton's at like organic cotton's at 110, cotton's at 100. And on the contrary, like polyester is at like 15 megahertz.
Right.
So there's like a huge discrepancy there. They measured like a healthy human and like a sick human, like a dead human's frequency. Like a healthy, vibrant human's at like 100 megahertz, which is equivalent to cotton. Like a deathly sick human is at like 15 megahertz, which is equivalent to polyester.
Crazy.
And so like when you're exposed to different frequencies, you kind of like resonate with those to a certain extent. So your state's either like elevated or
literally dead,
reduced, right? So when you're like exposed to wearing like linen and wool and organic cotton, your cells, like your vibration, are they're gonna vibrate at the frequency that matches that fabric that you're wearing. Same idea to how when you listen to things that have certain frequencies, it's gonna alter like the cells in your body and therefore like change your vibrational state, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with when you have certain emotions, like there's that like emotional spiral. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I think I have.
But like certain emotions are associated with like higher frequency versus lower frequency state of being. So like feelings like love, like love, I think, is one of the highest ones. Like love, enlightenment, passion, all those things are very high vibrational.
Joy.
But if you go exactly. If you go down to like fear, jealousy, anger, that's all like very low vibrational. And I mean, you know how you feel when you have those emotions, right? Like the different ends of the spectrum. So it's basically following the principle that when you're exposed to certain frequencies, whether it's sound, emotion, clothing, you're altering like your state of mind, your physical health too.
Yeah.
And so it's important to be aware of this, right? And like, why would you want to expose yourself to those negative, lower vibrational states? Like if you have the option to more easily like raise your vibration, like be a happier person, like it's so simple. And I've personally like experimented with it, and now that I know it, sure, there's some placebo in there, but at the same time, like I can feel a difference when I have to wear like polyester for whatever reason. Like I just like don't like the way it feels. I feel like less energetic, all this stuff. But when I wear like these natural fabrics, I feel so much better.
You feel more because you feel more human.
Exactly. More connected to like nature and the natural things in life. So yeah, that's kind of like my thought on vibrational frequency. And I think it's like a very interesting topic, and something that is definitely less mainstream. It's like more of a niche part of clothing, and for Wayve too. It's like I think it's a big part of it, but it's going to be not like one of the main things that are advertised. But it's a very real topic, so I encourage everyone to like try out wearing different fabrics, see how they feel, try listening to a frequency. I've been listening to a lot of like beehive frequencies on YouTube when you do work, and it's just like the sounds of inside like a beehive.
Really?
And it's supposed to be very healing. And that's why like beekeepers, they have like one of the longest lifespans in the world, because they're exposed to those frequencies like all the time. and they're outside all the time, like there's definitely something to it. So if you're interested, like it's another rabbit hole to dive into and look at. So I'd encourage you to take a look. Yeah.
Right. That was a beautiful piece. That was like a beautiful segment. Really important to talk about as well. It's not
Totally.
like you said, there's not enough noise on it for sure.
Yeah. I think it gets shot down pretty easily. It's like people think you're like a crazy hippie
Yeah,
for saying something
it
like that.
sounds very pseudoscientific. It's
right?
definitely very schizophrenic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's all
bro.
good though.
For my last question, what brings you most joy in life?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think really trying to be present and enjoying simple things brings me a lot of joy. Whether that's, and that kind of applies to a lot of things, right? Like whether that means creating like this brand, like putting my energy and passion into it, whether it means like really spending real time, like with no distractions, with like my friends, my family, my girlfriend,
Yeah.
sitting here talking to you, you know, like just being like fully present. It's like hard to come by these days, you know. There's so many distractions, so much noise, and that's like, I think like the beauty of life is really like being in tune with yourself, being in tune with nature, and trying to find ways to do that is like, I think that's where like the best parts of life come out. So for me, I think that brings me the most joy, like going out, spending time outside, going to the beach, playing sports, like working out, like staying active. Like there are so many things that happen that it's easy to tune out. Like if you just like listen to music the whole time, if you're on TikTok or whatever the whole time, like you can easily miss out on that. But finding time to really just like be present, do nothing, or be fully intentional about what you're doing, that's kind of where like I think a lot of life's like best parts come out. So
Wow.
I've been trying to get into that more.
Yeah, beautiful. That was very well said, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, brother, thank you for your time. And I really, like, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate you coming on.
Dude, I'm glad you invited me on. This is my first podcast ever, and so
Yeah.
hopefully there will be more to come. But I'm always happy to talk, and this is a great conversation. You know, like I think you're doing great things, and especially so young. Like I was doing nothing like that back then. So
I appreciate it, man.
keep it.
I'm definitely having you back after you release your clothing, and hopefully in person we can make that happen.
Yeah, let's do it.
I know you're in Cali, so I visit often. Hopefully we can make something in the beach, or like, I don't know, something cool.
Yeah, dude, for sure. We should definitely do it. I know.
Yeah.
Have you seen, like, I saw Case Bradford's doing some like in-person stuff. That seems really cool. But yeah, no, I'm definitely down.
Something like that. Yeah. Beautiful, brother. Again, thank you so much for today.
Yeah, no, thank you. Appreciate it.
Give me a second.